Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic.
I'm Barry P. Cook. I'm here to talk to you about the latest episode of Harley Quinn. It was called A Thief, a Mole, and an Orgy. As the episode opens, Ivy is trying to get it so that Frank, her plant, can produce 10 times as much seed as he normally does so that she can terraform Gotham. And everybody keeps interrupting her with silly stuff. One of the things they disturb her with is a practice session for a band that they've formed. Now I'm talking about Sharkface and Harley. And the lyrics to one of the songs are pretty raunchy. Let's just say that Harley was about to talk about doing something which rhymes with being a wussy to Ivy. It turns out that the mayor didn't die. I thought he had died in a previous episode when he was in an accident. But he's not dead. He's stuck in the hospital with a staff through his torso. But he's still kicking Gordon's ass in the election because Gordon's running for mayor against him. Harvey Dent is apparently running Gordon's campaign, and he wants Gordon to take donations from the likes of Ra's al Ghul and Carmine Falcone, which Gordon is keen to do, despite his daughter Barbara's protestations. Of course, she's Batgirl. When Ivy lies to Harley about Catwoman watching their every move on her camera so that no one uses her special toilet, because Ivy doesn't want people traipsing in to use the toilet since it's right next to where she's trying to work, Harley goes and takes out all the cameras with a bat. Ivy then finishes her formula and makes it so that Frank can terraform all of Gotham, and they all go for a celebratory dinner, but when they get back, all is not well as Frank appears to be missing. When they try to check the security cameras to see who might have taken Frank, of course they can't because Harley broke them. But Ivy doesn't know that, and she assumes that whoever took Frank must have known where all the cameras were when they came to get him. But of course, that's not what happened. King Shark finds a brooch in the apartment while looking around to see what might have happened to Frank. And it's a brooch from the Court of Owls, which they don't immediately know. But Harley knows that the Joker had one himself, so she takes Ivy to ask him what's going on, and he gives them what they need to access a weekly meeting of the Court of Owls in between trying to help his son with homework, which frustrates him quite a bit. And it was kind of funny to see him try to be a normal dad and not be the Joker, but he didn't really succeed at that too well. Ivy and Harley then go to the meeting wearing owl masks, which Harley looked particularly good in. And they go about looking for Frank, whom it would seem someone from the Court of Owls stole. Gordon ends up going in a mask as well, trying to wrangle support for his campaign out of the people there. And he runs into Bruce Wayne, who's also there. And he's like, "Oh, I recognize that jaw. You're Bruce Wayne." It was kind of funny because you'd think he's going to say Batman. Anyway, Harley runs into Bane, who pretends that he's not Bane, even though it's obvious that he is Bane because he's this big hulking dude. And he denies having taken Frank because he was in a therapy session about his trust issues, which he has because Ivy won't return his pasta maker, which we know from a previous episode. Harley then runs into Catwoman and confronts her about the toilet thing and the cameras, and she spills the beans about Ivy having lied to her. It turns out, though, that the perpetrator who stole Frank took a dump on Catwoman's fancy toilet while they were there, and it photographed a mole on their butt. Ivy learns that Harley busted all the cameras, and when she confronts Harley about it, Harley tells her that Catwoman spilled the beans about her lying, and then Ivy accidentally reveals that she and Catwoman used to hook up, which Harley does not take well at all. Then a freaking orgy breaks out at the Court of Owls meeting, which is at once disturbing and fortuitous, as it gives Harley and Ivy the opportunity to try to find the mole of the person that stole Frank. Ivy explains to Harley that her tryst with Catwoman didn't really mean anything, and that she knows that now because having been in a relationship with Harley for a while, she's learned what an actual relationship is. And while they have a tearful makeout session in the middle of the orgy, they lose themselves in the moment and back up into the wall and bump into the light switch, turning it on and pissing everyone in the room off. Speaking of everyone in the room, Gordon inadvertently caught a bunch of them on video when he dropped his phone, and it was recording while it got kicked around the room while he was trying to retrieve it. And he now has blackmail material on a whole bunch of important Gothamites. The episode ends after that with Harley and Ivy still looking for Frank, who we see is strapped down to a table and none too pleased about it. I thought this episode was funny. It was full of funny moments, but it wasn't anything special. The best part was when the orgy started and when the orgy continued. And when the orgy ended. the orgy was the best part. It was funny because everybody's like either naked or mostly naked, and the people who were naked had like blurry things over their bits, and it was very funny. But I think what it is about this episode that made it not great is there just wasn't enough Clayface. He's barely in it, and Clayface is hilarious, and he should be heavily featured in every episode. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back, of course, with a review of the next episode once it's released. Until then, I wish you peace and long life.